Okay, let's continue further. The last program for the today's video lesson will be on binary search. So again, the idea is to differentiate between the recursion and the iteration, but this time using the all-important program of binary search. Before I write the program, let me briefly explain you the logic behind this program. This is the content of the list called ARR, and then I would like to search for 14, which is represented by the variable of key. Okay, so wherever the value of 14 resides, the program should be returning the index value, just to indicate that this particular value of 14 indeed resides on index number 6. So as you are well aware of the fact that index value always starts from 1. So let's write the program real quick. The name of the function will be, say, bin search. Okay, and then it needs two arguments. The first one is ARR followed by the key value to be searched. And then we'll take the help of two variables. Low obviously has to be 0, indicating the lowest or the first index, and then the value of high, the last index, will be length of ARR minus 1. The length of this particular function always starts from the counting number, which has to be 1. So length of ARR will be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The index y starts from 0. So don't be confused between the two. So length of ARR being 8 minus 1 is 7. So you have the value of low as 0 and you have the value of high as 7. Alright? So we'll now have the while condition. So this loop has to continue as long as the value of low is less or equal to high. The moment this condition becomes false, the moment the low value becomes greater than high, it then means that the element to be searched for is not found in the list. Okay? And then what follows is I need to calculate the middle index by having the typecast of int. You have low plus high divided by 2, and then you have the closing parenthesis. So that as of now, the value of low is 0. Okay, the value of high is 7. So 0 plus 7 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Since this is the floating division operator, you will have the answer as 3.5. But we are not interested in the fractional part, since we are dealing with the index value. So the typecast of int will help us to convert 3.5 to 3. Okay, and then if the value of key magically coincides with the middle element, is represented by ARR of mid. Okay, these are the basics. So the value of mid being 3. So 3 means this. So this is considered to be the middle element. If it coincides, then I need to return the value of mid straight away. So return mid, and that should be the end of the program. Okay. However, LF the value of key is less than the middle element. If it's less than the middle element, then I need to bring the value of high to mid minus 1. I'm now focusing on the first half. Okay, first half. Because if this condition, were to be true, then it means that it is now in the first half, which means I now need to change the value of high to mid minus 1. So you have here high is equal to mid minus 1. And then similarly, if neither of these two conditions are true, then I have to, okay, I'm not supposed to miss this column. And then else, if neither of these two conditions are true, I now change the value of low to mid plus 1. If the key is greater, if it's greater than the middle element, then I need to leave the value of high as 7, but I need to give the value of low to mid plus 1, indicating that the element now should be in the later half of the list called ARR. Alright? So I guess, and then finally I have this, I need else for this while. When will this be executed, if you could remember correctly? If the while body completes all the cycles, if it reaches the final condition, which is, the low is equal to high, if it surpasses that condition also, then it needs to execute the else part. And then over here, I would like to have return with a value of negative 999. Since we don't have the index value as negative 999, you can have any other values, but they should be negative. So this statement will be executed if there are no values being returned from the block of while, which means the value is certainly not found in the list of ARR. So we'll try to execute this. We'll try to execute step by step. So for the first loop, the value of low, for the first loop, the value of low will be 0, the value of high will be 7. Okay, and then I get inside the condition is true. I calculate the middle value. The middle value is 0 plus 7 divided by 2. I'll get the answer as 3.5, but the 0.5 will be negated by this end, so I now have the value of mid as 3. The value of key is 14. The middle element will be represented by ARR of mid. Mid is 3. So what do you have at index number 3? You have 8. Okay, so you now have the value of key as 14, the value of ARR of mid, or ARR of 3 as 8. Let's do the comparison. Key is equal to ARR of mid. Is 14 equal to 8? The condition is false. Is key less than 8? Is key less than 8? The condition is again false. Okay, the condition is again false, and then you now have this remaining statement which needs to be executed for sure. So here what's happening is the low value is being changed to mid plus 1. You now have the new value of low as mid plus 1, which is the value of mid is 3. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So you now have the new value of low as 4. So this will be the status after the execution of the first loop. Now let's go for the next one. Okay, let's do this real quick. So this time the low is equal to 4. Okay, high will still be 7. The condition is still true. Okay, the value of mid is equal to 4 plus 7 divided by 2. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5, but we need to take just 5. So you now have the value of mid as 5. Okay, the value of key is again 14. The value of ARR of mid, the new value of mid is 5. So this is equal to, you have 12. ARR of 5 is 12. Okay, so again, let's do the comparison. Is 14, are they equal? Certainly not. What about the second condition? Key 14 is less than 12. The condition is again false. So again, I'll have to execute the final statement of low is equal to mid plus 1. So you have low is equal to the value of mid being 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So the new value of low is now 6. So do you notice something? With every passing loop, we tend to break the segment into a smaller segment, which is approximately the half of the original segment. So this goes on and on until this condition becomes true. So let's continue further. So the new value of low is now 6, high will still be 7. The new value of mid will be 6 plus 7 divided by 2. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. Is it 6.5? But we just need to have the integer value, which is 6. 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5, right? So you have the mid value as 6. Okay? And the key value will still be 14. And the middle element, ARR of mid. ARR of mid. Where is it? Okay, here. ARR of mid, which is nothing but 6. What do you have at 6? You have ARR of 6 as 14. Okay, so you have key value as 14, ARR of 6 as 14. So this time, the first condition evaluates to true. So if this condition is true, I need to return the mid value. I need to return the mid value. The mid value is 6. Okay, so finally, the value of mid, which is 6, will be returned. So in the main part of the program, you'll be able to if you want to write the main part of the program, it's going to be something like this. Say, assuming the value of ARR as this, key value as 14, you will have something like this. Index is equal to, let's call the function of bin search and then send ARR and then you have key. So if the index value is greater or equal to 0, then you could say that print. Okay, you can just print the mid value directly. Okay, since the mid value is being returned to the function call, and the mid value will be assigned to index. If it's greater or equal to 0, just print the value of sorry, it's not mid. It has to be index. Okay, so you will get the final answer of index as 6. However, if the condition is false, then say if the element is not found, negative 999 will be returned to index. So which means this condition will be false, and then perhaps you could have a print statement followed by a message called not found. So this is how you write the program for binary search using the iteration method. Let's now do the second method, which is even more important. That's nothing but the recursion. Okay, so the logic of the program is again exactly the same. It's just that we need to change the format a little bit. So I'll just write the recursion method. Okay, so again you will have the def keyword. The name of the function is bin search. This time, unlike the iteration method, you will require the 4 arguments. The first one being ARR followed by key. You have the low and then you have the high. Alright, so the function header will differ. So this is the function header for the function definition of bin search to be done with the method of recursion. Okay, and then after this, we now need to check if the value of low is greater than high. If the value of low is greater than high, we need to bring the program to a halt. So straight away, we'll return the value of negative 999. So since we are not going to use the iteration, we should have some way to bring the chain of recursive calls to an end. That's nothing but the base case. So this is the base case which will bring the program to a certain solution. Okay, and then you now have to calculate the mid value. The logic is pretty simple. met is equal to int, okay, and then you have low plus high divided by 2, and then you have the closing parenthesis. So again, just check for the first condition whether the key to be searched for is indeed equal to the middle element. Okay, so how do you do it? If key is equal to the middle element, which is ARR of mid, then it's done and dust. Return the value of mid. Okay, if it's found, then we need to return the value of mid. So again, you could say that this is the second base case for the program. And then if the value of key is less than the value of ARR of mid, okay, if the value of key is less than the middle element, we then need to change the value of high to mid minus 1. Remember? So what I do here is I write high is equal to mid minus 1, and then more importantly call the function all over again. That's when the recursive call now comes into the picture. We now need to call the same function again. So it's going to be like return, okay, return, and then the name of the function is bin search, alright, and then again you have the 4 elements which starts with ARR, you have the key, you have the low, and then you have the high. Okay, so if this condition evaluates to true, high value will be changed to mid minus 1, and then again make that recursive call. If neither condition evaluates to true, I have to change the value of low to mid plus 1. I need to change the value of low to mid plus 1, indicating that the element to be found for false in the later half. And then again, it's going to be the return statement, bin search, you will have ARR, you will have key, you will have low, you will have high. Okay, so this should be the end of the function definition for bin search. Okay, look at this. So this will be the main part of the program. So let's say from this, if we make a call to the bin search using recursion, because if we try to understand the program real quick, you have the list elements arranged like this, and the value of key as 14, and then the value of low. Okay, now this time I need to make some little modification. The main part of the program will be something like this. This is the main part of the program. Low is equal to 0, and then you need to have the list ARR initialized to this, or you may get confused a little bit, so I better write the whole thing. ARR is equal to, you will have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then you have 16. Alright, this is the list, and then you have the key value. Say, let's say this is 14. You could, of course, prompt the user to enter the key value to be searched for using int input statement, and then you have this index is equal to, let's make the function call, it's bin search, alright, and then pass all 4 elements, and then after this we should have the low is equal to 0, and then high is equal to length of ARR minus 1. So once you have the value of ARR list, the key value, the values of high, low, and then once you are done with all the the variables. You now need to pass on like this: ARR, you have key, and then you have low, and then you have high. Alright? So you have the value of key as 14, the value of low as 0, the value of the high as 7. So let's try to understand this program real quick. Okay, so you now have the value of low as 0 and the value of high as 7. Okay? So this condition will be false. The value of mid, again the logic is just the same. 0 plus 7 will be 3.5. You will have 3 here. Okay, 3 here. And then again you run this check. When the condition evaluates to false, and then this, the key value being 14, the ARR of mid is right. The value of mid being 3, ARR of 3 is nothing but the 8. Okay, so this condition, is again false. So this statement will be executed. These two statements will be executed. So this time what happens is the value of mid is 3. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So the new value of low is 4. So again what happens here is you have a function call. This is nothing but recursive call. You have the value of key as 14, the value of low as 4, and then you have the value of high still as 7. So from here the variable's value will be passed on respectively. So the value of ARR key will just be the same. What changes is the value of 4. And then you will have the value of high still as 7. So as per the explanation of the earlier program, now this time, this condition will be again false. This will again be false. Okay, I am doing this, in a shortcut format, so I hope you're able to catch up with me. So both the conditions will be both the conditions will be false. So this time, what happens here is, it will come here, the value of mid, 4 plus 7 is 11, 11 divided by 2 is 5.5, okay, and then you have 5 as the ultimate value of the mid. Okay, so again, when you try to scan through the programs, you will reach here. So the value of mid, which is 5 plus 1, it will be 6. So from here, 6 will be passed, and then it will replace the value of low, which is 6. Understood? And then 6 plus 7, the mid value will be 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. The new value of mid is 6. Okay, and then ARR of 6 is 14. So this time you will see a match between the value of key, which is 14, and ARR of 6, which is again 14. So the final value of mid, which will be 6, will be returned, indicating that 14 value indeed resides at index number 6. So as long as these two return statements are executed, which means the element to be searched for is never found. So these two return statements will keep breaking that segment into a half, okay, and then again with another return statement or another recursive call, this particular statement will again be broken into even half the size of earlier one. This will go on and on until these two return statements will eventually let us either into this condition being true, okay, ultimately the element to be searched for will be found. If you go on and on, okay, you will reach a stage where the last final segment will have just one value, and that value is exactly the value that we are searching for. However, this particular statement will be executed if the value of low becomes greater than high. If the value of low becomes greater than 5, which means the element to be searched for is not found. So either these two recursive call will force this condition to be true, or it will force this condition to be true. So either of these two base cases will be executed. Hence, it will bring the program to an end. So with this, we are done with 5 of the programs, which was meant to provide a clear differentiation between the recursion and the iteration. So from the examination point of view, if you are asked to differentiate between the recursion and the iteration is, like I said, the last week, this week also, recursion is a programming technique via which the large computational problem is broken into smaller, the problems with each recursive call until the base situation is met, and that brings the program to the end. With iteration, what happens is, you are taking the help of looping statements like for and while, which will ensure the program runs either in cycles or the loops. And then another important, that's the first difference between the two, rather than the definitions. The second important difference could be, technically, the programs which are done with iteration method will provide you the clear technical explanation of the working of the program. When you take a look at the iteration-based programs, you are able to see the clear technical working of the program. So if you want to come up with a program later, during the later stages, if you want to have a clear understanding of the technicalities of the program, you should always go for the iteration method. If you want to have a simplified version of the iteration program, it's best to go for the recursion. If you could take a closer look, the program is much simpler, much easier when it comes to the presentation, or when you try to understand. It's presented in such a way that it's very simple to understand. There is nothing much to look out for the logic of the program. So that's the second important difference. Much more technicalities. The program is much simpler, to explain or to understand. Okay, so the second important, the difference is based on the presentation. The third important difference is, these kind of programs are much less costlier program from the memory point of view. Remember, in the iteration, there will be just one part of the memory that will be used for the variables. You will have just one block of memory in which the variables, will be used to store the values. There is no need of additional spaces or additional allocation for storing the values for the variables like, the key, the low, the high, the mid. There will be just one memory. And then the same memory will be used to execute the unit of the program. So all in all, you will just have one block of memory for storing the values of the variables used in the program, and the same unit of the program are executed inside the same block of the memory. But if you could recall correctly, the earlier video, like I said, you have the stack, what is that? Yeah, the stack, the function stack, exactly. The function stack needs to be created first, and then up on the stack you have the frames lined up. So each frame represents one block of memory. So one block of memory or one frame is reserved for one execution of the function, and then another execution of the recursive call will require another frame or another block of the memory. So this will go on and on. So for this, you will need a stack in which you'll have to come up with a lot of frames, and each frame being reserved for the individual execution of the function definition. Let's say you have 5 calls, so there is a need of 5 such, the frames up on the stack, and this will result in lot of occupation of the spaces with the RAM. So understandably, this program holds advantage when it comes to memory preservation or conservation, but this kind of programs will occupy lot of memory spaces. So which means the program will run little slower and this program will run little faster. So these are the differences between the recursion and the iteration. So with this, we have come to the end of the chapter of recursion. This chapter is one of the shortest chapters in your curriculum, but there are many pages of the questions and the exercises which you'll have to look up to the textbook. Okay, so with this, I would like to wind up today's video lesson. Please take special care of yourself and then study hard. Thank you very much.